All right. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is the Wood Dog, and this is my segment, just keeping it real with the Wood Dog. All right, I'm going to talk about two things today. This is not going to be a real long video, but I think it's very important that I get this information out. This information that I'm going to put out today is going to be very important to every single Detroit police officer in the city of Detroit. And it's also going to be very serious as it pertains to all the citizens in Wayne County concerning the current Wayne County Sheriff, Raphael Washington. And it's also going to concern every legitimate pastor in Wayne County. It doesn't matter if you're a Middle Eastern pastor. It doesn't matter if you are of the priesthood. It doesn't matter if you are a Protestant Baptist preacher. It's going to affect that, and um, and I'm going to give it to you right here, right now, on my segment, just keeping it real with the Wood Dog. You can do me a big favor before, during, or after this video, and please subscribe to my channel for future content. And you can also reference all of my current YouTube videos, the live ones, on my YouTube channel at Just Keeping It Real at Wood Dog 4868. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It also it helps me out. And you can also find me on Facebook under my real name, which is Frank Wood, because I don't hide who I am and what I am. And but everybody knows me as the Wood Dog because keeping it real is the only thing that I know how to do. Now let's get to it. All right. I became aware that our current mayor, Mike Duggan, um, had to be maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Um, he appointed a gentleman to the Detroit Police Commission. Now, as you know, the Detroit Police Commission has 11 members, and the mayor gets to select a few of those individuals to be on the Detroit Police Commission. And some of the other people that are on the Detroit Police Commission, they are on there by election by the people, uh, by their district. Now, what finds me very concerned about one particular Detroit police commissioner is the fact that not only did Mike Duggan appoint this individual uh, to the Detroit Police Commission, but this individual had his sentence commuted from the Michigan Department of Corrections by then Governor Rick Synder. Now, this particular individual is connected to everything that I'm going to speak on today because, uh, as well as the other individual that continues to associate with known felons. And we all know who that is, Sheriff Raphael Washington of Wayne County. Now, for all the Detroit police officers, if I was a Detroit police officer, I would be at every Detroit Police Commission meeting until this individual was removed or stepped down. And the individual that I'm speaking on today is Darryl Woods Jr. Here's a picture of Mr. Darryl Woods Jr. Darryl Woods Jr. Was convicted in this state of Michigan for first-degree murder. Yeah, that's right. First-degree murder, Mr. Darryl Woods Jr. And he's a current member of the Detroit Police Commission appointed to that position by Mayor Duggan. Now, how do you explain to me that the organization, which is the Detroit Police Commission, sits in judgment of police officers? When a police officer is either suspended or up to termination, the final decision is usually given or not given by the Detroit Police Commission. They are the civilian watchdogs of the Detroit Police Department, and rightfully so. And there's a variety of issues. Some officers get dismissed from their job unjustly and have to have their situation heard by the Detroit Police Commission. So they can either uphold or not uphold the police chief's recommendation for termination or reinstatement and or the promotion of supervisors on the Detroit Police Department. So how can you have a convicted felon sitting in judgment one way or the other and involved in decisions involving promotions of supervisors that supervise the behavior of supervisors by a convicted murderer, a convicted felon? Now, some citizens don't know the difference between a pardon and a commutation. A pardon means that uh, the governor or even the president of the United States can wipe out a conviction off of a person's record. That means it doesn't even exist, like it didn't even happen. Okay. A commutation means that a person can have their sentence commuted, meaning that time served and they can be released, but their criminal record still stays on file and they can't suppress it or have it expunged. Darryl Woods Jr. is a convicted murderer. And just because he was in the Michigan Department of Corrections for 25 plus years does not negate the fact that someone died by his hand or direction. And in the last year or so, this person, Mr. Darryl Woods Jr., has been saying that he was unjustly convicted. You know, he feels entitled now that he's free to say that he was wrongfully convicted. Well, we know that's not true. Okay, that's not true because he might have been a good inmate for 25 plus years. And people say, well, that was 25 years ago. Well, that deceased person that he was responsible and found guilty of in court, I'm sure their family at this very moment is still upset, sad, and disgusted about what went down with their loved one concerning the Detroit Police Commissioner, Darryl Woods Jr. Now, you know, in the media, the Detroit Police Commission been taking a lot of heat lately on complaints against the police department, you know, a backlog of decisions that's supposed to be made by him. And there was some infighting among the commissioners where they removed the senior Mr. Willie Bell out of his chair position back to just being a regular commission. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm sure that Mr. Darryl Woods Jr. is a major distraction as a commissioner. And I'm sure a lot of people were unaware that he was a convicted felon, convicted of murder. Now, when it comes to his statement, and he's been ranting about being unjustly convicted or wrongly convicted, last week, the former union president of the Wayne County Deputy Sheriff's Association Union, Reginald Crawford, went down there last week and called him out, telling people, how you going to tell people that you were wrongly convicted when Governor Synder commuted your sentence and you still had to have a parole hearing where you had to convince the parole board that you could go back out into the public, even though the governor commuted your sentence, sir. And he made admissions at that parole hearing, because I personally know a person that was on that parole board at that time and listened to his BS to get out. Okay, now citizens, ask yourself, if you or your loved one was convicted of first-degree murder, do you think the governor of Michigan would let you out? We all know that first-degree murder is a life offense without parole. Only the governor can commute your sentence, and that's what Rick Synder did, because he was in there doing a Tookie Williams, like Tookie Williams was in California, writing children's books and reforming his life, trying to negate the fact that he turned up a shotgun on two people and they dead by his hand. Now, Reginald Crawford, from who was the former Wayne County Deputy Sheriff's Union president, went down there and called him out. Reginald Crawford is also a former Detroit police officer. Reginald Crawford also sat on the Detroit Police Commission simultaneously while he was a deputy sheriff in Wayne County. And then he retired being the president of the union. And this guy going through the community talking about he was wrongfully convicted. Now, how does he get the ear of myself, the Wood Dog, on my segment, Just Keeping It Real? Because I am a retired Wayne County deputy sheriff of over 30 years. And I was a serious lawman when it came out there to being in the public. Now, you know, law enforcement has been taking some major hits with the George Floyd situation and everything else. And the riots downtown, officers had to put hands on some people down there to keep them from tearing the city up, because that's what Mayor Mike Duggan wanted at all costs. So the police department are trying to get that respect back, trying to get that love back. But how are they supposed to get it back when you got individuals that not supposed to be in certain positions? Mr. Darryl Woods Jr. should not be sitting on the Detroit Police Commission in judgment of police officers for or against their reinstatement or suspension or termination and promotions of supervisors, considering his past status. Just because he was a good inmate for over 25 years, doing projects in the prison, helping, mentoring other inmates, that's what the Michigan Department of Corrections is for, to correct your behavior. So if you get out, maybe you can be a contribution to society. But when you're convicted of first-degree murder, you're in there for life. The only way you'll leave a correctional facility with a first-degree murder conviction is in a box. That's it. That's it. Second-degree murder, you could possibly get out. And any other crime below that, you can probably get out. The Michigan Department of Corrections is there to help you and assist you to become a productive citizen. But first-degree murder, and he's sitting on the police commission with a Detroit Police Commission badge, mind you, too, which is a law enforcement credential. Now, how does the Wayne County Sheriff fall into this picture? Okay, I'm going to tell you how the current Wayne County Sheriff, Rafael Washington, this is him. This is the man that I've been talking about in all of my videos, and I should have had this picture beforehand, but now I got it. So this is Wayne County Sheriff Rafael Washington. He's seeking your election for this year in August to retain his position as sheriff for the next 4 years. And if you go on my YouTube page, Just Keeping It Real, and my Facebook page under Frank Wood, you'll see some shocking, salacious paperwork, interviews by Investigator Ross Jones from Channel 7 on this man right here, Wayne County Sheriff Rafael Washington, who's been sued for sexual harassment, giving away badges to everybody in the community. You know, now I want to know, how is it that all these pastors who got badges from Sheriff Rafael Washington, where's the pride in that badge? Where's the pride in the badge to all those good Wayne County deputy sheriffs, current and retired, when there's badges all over the community. And he's been giving these badges away to pastors and and ministers all over the county, jacklegs and everything, taking away the prestige of the good ministers and the good pastors in Wayne County. So now let me get right into the situation. We're at 15 minutes. I'm going to get into the situation how Darryl Woods, a convicted murderer that had his sentence commuted by Governor Rick Synder, ties in to Sheriff Rafael Washington. Well, we all know that Sheriff Rafael Washington has a big issue with associating with known felons. Anybody who associates with Darryl Woods Jr. and you're in law enforcement, or you sit on the bench, or you work for a correctional facility, or work for a law enforcement agency, you are associating with a known felon. And I know that the Wayne County Sheriff's Department has a crystal clear policy on associating with known felons. There's a video on my Facebook at this very moment where Wayne County Sheriff Rafael Washington and his undersheriff was associating with a known felon known by the entire world by the name of Rick Worshey, aka White Boy Rick, a convicted felon for selling drugs in the community. Now, we all know that Governor Rick Synder commuted the sentence of a first-degree murder because he was doing good in prison. So what? It's a first-degree murder. Okay, let him out because he's done good things locked up. Not free, locked up. Okay. Then Mike Duggan gets advised of this man doing all this good work while he was locked up. Kwame Kilpatrick did the same thing, doing all this good ministry work while he was locked up. Okay, not free, locked up. And President Donald Trump commuted Kilpatrick's sentence, let him out, but he's still a convicted felon. Okay. Moving on. Mr. Darryl Woods, I keep showing this picture because you need to know who this guy is. All right. You need to know who this guy is. Darryl Woods Jr. All right. Darryl Woods Jr. All right. Darryl Woods Jr. was obviously able to secure some type of religious credentials to give him pastoral status. I'll call it that. He ain't no pastor. He might have got a license to be a pastor. And what does the Wayne County Sheriff Rafael Washington do? Because he's looking to get elected this year. What he does, he seeks out Mr. Darryl Woods Jr., Wayne County Sheriff Rafael Washington, and gives this man an official Wayne County Deputy Sheriff's chaplain badge and ID. He has it in his pocket at this very moment. He can't say he doesn't have it because I seen it. The current or the former Wayne County Deputy Sheriff Union president, Reginald Crawford, seen it. Why is he displaying that badge in the public? And most people who have special deputy badges are not allowed to show these badges in public or try to use them for special favors. But he did because he was so angry at being called out at the Detroit Police Commission by Reginald Crawford. They'll know who else was standing there in that area. And we saw him make reference about that badge from the Wayne County Sheriff. So he's got two law enforcement badges. He's got a badge from the Detroit Police Commission, and he has a badge from the Wayne County Sheriff Rafael Washington, who continues to violate his own department's policy on associating with known felons. Here we go again with Sheriff Rafael Washington violating his own policy, but let his officers associate with known felons. Let one of his lieutenants or one of his commanders on his executive staff associate with known felons and people find out about it, guess what's going to happen to them? You already know. Discipline up to termination. Okay. Now, getting further into the situation with the current Wayne County Sheriff associating with known felons and then giving a convicted known felon official police badge and ID, he can go in and out of the Wayne County jails on a whim at his leisure. And he flaunts that. He puts on his best clothes, his best shoes, prancing around. I'm a Wayne County Deputy Sheriff chaplain appointed by Sheriff Washington. Now, the Wayne County Jail has a ministry, okay, where ministers and pastors can come in and give services to inmates. And I think it's a good thing because sometimes a brother don't only find Jesus when they behind the bars or whatever God they serve. I'm with that. I used to supervise those hearings where the ministers would come in on a Saturday night or a Sunday evening and minister to the inmates. But none of those people have official Wayne County Sheriff badges and IDs. They have to be approved by the Wayne County Sheriff Internal Affairs under Reed Shackabarty, and you heard me talk about him many a times. Did Reed Shackabarty do the criminal history background check for Darryl Woods Jr. to get a special deputy badge and police ID? Obviously not. And if he did, he ignored it at the direction of Sheriff Rafael Washington. Because all the pastors and civilians that go in and out of the jail, they have to have a security clearance done on them, a full background check. If you got a felony, you ain't coming into the jail for jack. If you are a skilled tradesman or something like that, and you are a convicted felon, might not be a murder or rape or second-degree murder, but they don't care. They're not going to give you access to the facility. Why? Because you're a felon and you're a convicted felon and they can't trust you. But they trust this guy. I mean, first-degree murder is the most serious crime on this earth. Or let's just say the most serious crime in America, killing someone that he admitted to enhance his ability to get out because he knew that Governor Rick Synder had commuted his sentence, but he still had to have a hearing with the parole board. And, you know, it wasn't the fact that he was just saying anything to get out. He admitted to it. And the person that I personally know who was on the parole board, who did the parole hearing, is on the Detroit Police Commission himself. There you go. So I'm not just talking, it's proof in the pudding. If anybody wants to look it up, I'm sure they can look it up. It's freedom of information on this cat. And he gets untethered access to the Wayne County Jail being a convicted felon. So I'm showing his pictures so all my former colleagues down at the Wayne County Jail, when you see this guy walking around, you're going to know everything you need to know about this guy. He's still a convicted felon. He had his sentence commuted, and he's able to walk in and out of the jail anytime he wants to because he was appointed by Rafael Washington, the current Wayne County Sheriff, who's seeking to be my sheriff and your sheriff in 2024 this year in August. Don't vote for this cat. It's time out for all these felons hovering around the jails and the courts and having these positions bestowed on them just because they're trying to help somebody get elected. And for all the current pastors in the community that have a badge and ID from Sheriff Rafael Washington, you know, I'm gonna just say, you know, it takes the shine off of it. Why do you have something that anybody can get? A badge, a police badge, is a symbol of authority. It is a symbol of trust. It is a symbol of law and order in this Great Lakes state of Michigan. That's why they are considered controlled items, just like a police officer's radio, his weapon, his handcuffs, and any other tool of the trade connected with law enforcement. And if it's something that anybody can have, where's the prestige of having it? That's what I'm saying. So this is the Wood Dog, and this is my segment, just keeping it real. Because I always like to stick to my 30 minutes, and I'm at 25 minutes. But I felt it was very important for the citizens of Wayne County and all the Detroit police officers in the city of Detroit to know that there's a convicted felon sitting in judgment of you and may interfere with your promotion. It may interfere with your ability to get reinstated after a suspension. It may interfere with you being able to keep your job when your situation comes up before the Detroit Police Commission. Because if he was locked up for over 30 years, 25 years, you can't tell me in some form or fashion he ain't trying to get some get back at law enforcement. And what better way to do that than be on the Detroit Police Commission sitting in judgment of police officers? And who's saying that he won't revert back to his old ways? And he's flaunting the fact that he can walk in and out of the Wayne County Jail anytime he wants to with a Wayne County Sheriff chaplain badge in his possession. You know, I bet you with all moral certainty that there is no sheriff in the state of Michigan that will allow a convicted felon who had his sentence commuted from first-degree murder to walk in and out of their jail. It's 83 counties in the state of Michigan. And why does Wayne County get stuck with the worst sheriff in the state? Sheriff Rafael Washington has won the ASS Award for the law enforcement conference in Mackinac 2 years in a row. And they might as well make it 3 years in a row with this move that he just pulled, giving us a convicted felon, not only a convicted felon, but a convicted murderer who just had his sentence commuted because he was a good person in jail. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, a lot of guys become good people when you lock them up because they no longer have access to a weapon, an instrument of death. They no longer have access to peers that back them up and egg them on. So yeah, you're going to be a good guy. Look here. I think I've told you everything I know, but Detroit police officers, I would be filling up that commission. If you haven't heard about it, you heard about it now. You heard it from the Wood Dog, and this is my segment, just keeping it real. And don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up on my channel for future content. You can also find this on my Facebook page on Frank Wood. But I'm the Wood Dog, and I'm going to always keep it real. And I want to thank each and every one of you for listening, and thank you very much.